and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Better shut that up before it.
Roll call.
Newberry. Here. Crowner.
Here.
Johnson. Lees. Here. Young.
Here.
Okay. Take a motion to approve our agenda.
So moved. Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to the consent agenda.
Motion to approve is presented. Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to our council and staff reports. Their administrator.
Thank you. CIP, I'd like to find a time for us to review that, whether it's before the meeting or not. I'm going to put it in final format, put the final scoring in, and bring that forward for council consideration, and add anything that you'd like me to add, unless you would like to simply adopt it and then add as we go. I mean, what your preference is, but I thought it'd probably be prudent to have a discussion ahead of time, and then if there's anything you want me to add before we bring it forward for adoption, we could do that. But if you want to do that ahead of a meeting, if that's something you think we can get done in that time frame or a separate meeting, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. If you'd like to have a work session. I'm also going to need one on the comp planning process. I'll have a number of proposals put together on that. That'll take a little bit longer for discussion. I'm planning to put that out ahead of time to everyone to read through so that we can have a more informed discussion at the meeting. But as for the CIP, do you want to try to do that ahead or at a separate night?
I prefer separate.
Would just an off Wednesday night work coming up? Nope.
No.
I see a head shaking.
Nope, not for me.
What date?
How soon you want to do it?
I need to type it up, finish typing it up. You want to, what do you have open? Or do you want me to send out a little email or something?
Anything you want. I've got usually about 2 days a week, so,
Okay.
but they change.
Why don't we touch base and then I'll send a little note out and see what works for everybody?
Yeah,
That
can
work?
you do one of those Google Doc things where we?
Oh, one of
Google
those,
schedule
yeah,
and
those
throw a
schedule
bunch of
things.
on there that might-
Yep, I'll do that. Borgie made their payment for the testing that's been done. That was received on Monday. We have some additional sampling that needs to be done of the lagoons, which EPA added on, but net, they'll still be under the original amount they agreed to reimburse the city for. So I was happy to see that. REAP, I've talked to regional planning and myself. We had a discussion. Melanie attended a recent meeting of the REAP committee, I believe. I can't remember their official name, but we have a very short time in which we might be able to turn something around for the trailhead, and I'd like to try and do that. That would require a special meeting, and if it is, I'll try to just contact everybody and get that set up. 2 minutes to approve a resolution anytime. It could be any time during the day or whatever. So we're going to try and get that done and focus on a few of the key features that we've talked about, not the things that we really haven't talked about, but the shelter, water, sign, map.
Vegetation.
Well, there's something else, but try to get something put together really quick and in time to have the local committee review it. Housing needs assessment, the final and the executive summary are in your inboxes. I'm going to put those up on the website. If you wish to take a look at those. The trail map, I received a nice long one, and I'm going to try and get I'm going to ask Austin to print out a nice long one that I could post somewhere around here. But, so I've got a nice long one that shows the whole stretch now. I'm going to put that up on the website with a brief description or additional information on the trail project, and then we'll post it on Facebook as well. I'm going to meet with the mall and the coffee shop tomorrow afternoon. They changed it on me. It's either tomorrow or Friday to talk a little bit about the coffee shop placement and get that finalized. We're trying to get paperwork wrapped up for that November or December bid letting on that. And I think I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thank you. Mike not here tonight, so
Public Works. He's got Public Works. The guys are spread out. I know 3 of them will be working on with the sewer jet, getting familiar with that, working around the community, doing that, and other folks are focused on other activities. But I do know he's trying to get people trained and get that operating and working our plan. So I do know he's got 3 guys working on that here this week and going forward. And he'll probably swap those folks out as the need arises, accommodating vacations and trying to keep everything going. If there's any specific questions, happy to follow up.
police?
Police department and fire department participated in the National Night Out held downtown Burlington last night at the auditorium. There's a lot of people down there. I think it was a great turnout by the community. So there's quite a few departments and different organizations down there. So it was a good night. I was down there. A couple guys from the fire department was down there too. So that was a good night. And then I talked to you a couple weeks ago about the K9. I was just seeing if we had any other questions or if we're good to proceed with that. We're getting some nice donations in. Caspian Village donated $1,000 today, and we'll have a list of that coming up with some donations that we've been getting. So, and then the other thing is, as we proceed down this, there's some training that's coming up in November, and through that organization that we're getting the information from, I plan on having a little more information at the next council meeting of where the training is, who's holding the training, and we're going to do a couple interviews. I have 2 officers that are interested in becoming the K9 officer. So me and the sergeants are going to interview those 2 officers next week, and then we'll be able to proceed with that also. The big thing is we're looking at approximately $30,000 for the dog, the training, information, and then the money upon further that would be towards outfitting the squad car that we have in the budget this year. We'll help out on that. I just didn't know if there was a dollar amount that we can go ahead and proceed if we get up to a certain dollar amount with our fundraising, if we could go ahead and get the training started and all that through for the officer with that coming in. There's a Burlington officer that's going to go to that training in November, and I believe there's a Lee County officer that's going to go to that same training. So it'd be kind of nice to work with other handlers in this area, but it's
Was there a deadline on the training sign up?
I can do some. I'll give you that date next week or 2 weeks.
And is there any objections from the council at this point for us, or for the police department, to continue to pursue this opportunity, knowing that the acquisition, et cetera, will require council approval, but any objection to them continuing down this road? Is there any information you'd like specifically at the next council meeting that we can put together for you and provide And if there is, you can either let us know tonight or shoot us an email, and we'll put that information together and gather it up.
I've got two items, and I'm not opposed to this. I'd just like the answers to these two questions. Number one is, what's the plan? So we get an officer and we have the dog and everybody's trained and that officer leaves. I'd like to really understand what our plan is if that happens. And then the second thing is, just so I can tell my neighbor why we're doing it, I understand how the dog is used and the kinds of drugs and other things that it can help, but really and I know you're fundraising some of this too, but we'll have some ongoing costs, why they should foot the bill, why it's important to the community, stats, if we have them from the state or federal, of why we should have a canine unit, any of that, just so I'm educated on why we should have it.
What was the first question?
On if an officer
Oh,
leaves.
if the officer leaves, there are, that does happen occasionally, and I'll get some stats on that, but most of the time, they can come in and train a new officer with that dog. The dogs last approximately 4 to 6 years of their on duty, but I'll get more of that for that. And then the other thing with these dogs is they're multi-use dogs, so they do tracking, drug apprehension, and I was talking with Officer Beckman about all the different uses that they have for these dogs, and they used the county's dog up in Mediapolis earlier this fall. They had a family member not living at that, but like a cousin or whatever, living up there or visiting, and she wandered away, and they used a canine dog to locate that child that was missing up in the Sperry area earlier this year. So that's what just multi-use for these dogs that we have.
But we can list out some of that information and talk about officer leaves. Occasionally, I've seen where officers have been offered the ability to purchase the dog. Typically, that's after a relatively long relationship or longer relationship, reimburse the city. But dogs can be retrained and shifted to another officer as well. Typically, when they retire, the dog does, assuming the officer wishes to, will typically retire to the officer's home
The handler.
at that point in time. That's very common.
I just feel like we need to plan. We know and have talked about during previous budget sessions that we have a higher turnover in our police force, and I know we've taken steps to help that, but
Right.
so I feel like we need a solid plan for if that officer leaves.
I think we're all aware of what happened in Burlington. Is there any kind of insurance program if the dog were to be injured?
Yes, that's
or
all done
we
through,
can-
that's all done through the, where we get the,
Can we get more information
yeah,
about that
we
too?
can, I can talk to them about that.
Insurance, if the dog were to be injured.
Yeah, I've had that experience, not necessarily where they passed away, but had a dog that was shot through the mouth, and amazingly, a local dentist volunteered, human dentist volunteered, repaired the dog's teeth, and amazingly, even further, regained his full bite and returned to duty. But yes, I mean, we can certainly find more information, but I've had them in several prior communities, and I've only seen them as an asset, whether it be tracking individuals, lost individuals, criminals, et cetera, drugs, et cetera. But we'll get more information for you.
It's the only comment I could confirm what the year-over-year expected costs are for the dog. I know the initial costs are expensive, but the year-over-year annual cost.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Kelly?
Not tonight.
Okay. Angie?
Nope, the auditors are here. That's the excitement of the week.
Too much excitement, maybe. Any other staff reports? Okay. No?
Nothing
Okay.
for me tonight, thank you.
All right, Andy?
No, thank you.
Okay. Trish?
Quiet.
Just good job on the garage sale coordination. I heard good feedback on that. People
We had
enjoyed it.
over 40.
Super. That's great. And I believe we have the Vision Committee, a meeting set for September 28th from 5 to 7 PM. Is that right?
That needs to, the visioning committee needs to come up with some kind of event, community event, to get people here to do presentation of some of the designs that they've come up with. So we're hoping to have a meeting between now and then, so the committee can, as a whole, can see the final drawings.
We haven't really identified any events coming up here in the very near future. Was it late October
September.
or late September? No, for the actual meeting though with the public.
That's the date that she gave, that's the date.
We haven't thought of any, so we may end up just having to have a separate meeting focused solely on community visioning. But if you think of anything that we could tie it to, we'd appreciate your input.
Is that date set in stone?
The committee meeting or the meeting for the public?
The public on the 28th?
Just that time frame, I think, was the most important thing to them,
Yeah.
so.
I think of that week.
I'm not 100%, but it's potential that's homecoming week, and I think our community would be busy. I don't know if I have the appropriate date then, but if we want
We talked
people
about
to
trying
show
to
up,
tie it
that might not be.
to a football game, but they said that they don't really want,
Doesn't typically work
it
very
doesn't
well.
work for how it's set up and what they want people to, how they want people to participate, I guess.
I have 2 possible dates for homecoming, and that was one of them. I don't know what their final date was, but
We talked about that.
We'll check. I thought it was the first week of school.
No, I think it's, last year it was, but I'm not sure this year it is.
Okay, we'll check. Yep.
So the 27th is, 28th is not firm, is what I'm hearing.
We're trying to find the
Okay.
I think it could be, I mean, if we need to plan an event and something isn't coordinating, I think we're gonna have to be a little bit flexible.
And I think some of us have the Iowa League of Cities meeting up in Cedar Rapids, roughly that time frame.
That's the
like
week ahead of that.
Prior to
Yeah, that's
18,
the-
19,
yeah,
20 or so.
20th.
And I think we have a little problem with the committee in terms of they are also dealing with other cities, and so they have a lot of other times locked in too, so.
In fact, do we have confirmation on everybody that's attending ICMA? Or
I sent out in the, their weekly-ish update, the people that I had registered and going, so if anybody else is planning to go, let me know.
Or if
Because we
you're
have
not-
some rooms to cancel.
Or if you're not planning to go,
Yeah.
let us know. We need to,
I think Angie, Kathy, Ron, Melanie, Greg, and I are registered right now.
bless you.
I don't have that on my list, so I'll get with you and see dates.
Okay.
Last comment I had, just how's the pool going? Anything new there? I know staffing is gonna be a challenge, last I heard.
That last weekend is 19th and 20th, is going to be a problem. Kids are already going back to college. The week before, that Friday before, best we could do would
We're gonna
be
have no manager.
head lifeguard. Now, that last week is going to be problematic, so we're trying to see how our staffing is going to shape up, trying to get through at least that day. If we have to, we may need to modify what's open, how many slides are open, et cetera. But we'll certainly try our best to keep it open as long as possible, but that last weekend is not looking good.
Okay, thanks. And I'm sure someone's got the concession stand under control, so we don't end up with excess inventory or obsolete stuff.
They've stopped ordering concessions. Some of it is returnable through Pepsi.
She said today that they stopped ordering inventory.
Yep.
So.
Thanks, thank you. That's all I have.
As far as the 19th, I had originally heard we had a party scheduled. Do you know if that ever happened, and have we contacted that family if
I don't know for sure if there's a party schedule. We can ask
we
her.
make sure? I just don't want anybody.
We'll need to give them a heads up now, because it is not looking good. I'd really like to have either a head guard at a minimum for something like that.
Okay, Melanie, any more?
That's all, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else from the community, I'll move on to any citizens' inquiries, which we would have none, and then I'll move into new business. We are considering a resolution establishing an internal loan from the local option sales tax fund for the purpose of Lot B and F in Westland Mall Plat 2 subdivision.
Motion approved. Support.
Motion and support. Is there any discussion on this?
What we're simply doing is creating debt so that we can capture tax increment financing, as we discussed, to pay these, reimburse ourselves for these lots. And this is a rather small project. It'll just be done in 1 year. But you need to do this in order to create debt and to be able to report it at that December 1st deadline?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
December. I'm
my
on it.
brain wasn't working there for a second. That we report to the county and then, of course, to the state as well. So it's simply creating internal debt.
Roll call?
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Motion carries. Our second one is consider a resolution setting wages for non-union positions for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Motion approved. Support.
Motion and support. Discussion? Okay. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we have a resolution, number 3, setting the wage for a non-union position for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion? If not, roll call.
Young,
Aye.
Newberry,
Abstain.
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go to number 4. Consider removing Cole Williams and Jacob Fritz from the probationary status.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion?
Just wanted to provide a little history and talking to Mike. As you know, Jacob and Cole worked for us for 2 years. This has been done going back to Mike, at least, that I know of, Troy, Chase, Joel, John. Now, there are a couple times, so I was wondering why we even have it in the contract, but there have been a couple times where individuals are not quite ready to be moved to that next step. These two individuals have more than shown their commitment to the organization, the community, and their work ethic is above reproach.
See no other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 5, we have a consideration of a resolution approving a transfer from American Rescue Plan Act Fund to the Water Fund for $2,121.30.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Newberry,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 6, consider a resolution accepting the Lures Park Water Resource Restoration Project.
Motion approved.
Motion
Support.
and support. Any discussion?
This project was essentially closed out a while ago. This is a little cleanup. We just need to do the final resolution accepting the project. Everything is looking great. In fact, I got an email from DNR, which I need to respond to, saying everything looks great down there at the park. We have a little bit of grass we need to clean up at the top of the street where the dirt comes down. There's a little grass coming out of there that needed to be cleaned out, but she was very happy with the project when she did a surprise check here very recently.
Okay, roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Any old business? No citizen inquiries. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned.